Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? I think I've got the mic working. Sound okay? Awesome, good. So welcome to Unity Center for Spiritual Growth. My name is Kim Copperthwaite. I'm a member of the board here at Unity, and it is my pleasure to help guide you through the service today. Reverend Pat Bessie is taking a vacation this past week, and a well-deserved one. And she's calling it a staycation. So we wish her well and rest and peace, and she will be back next Sunday. I want to welcome everybody warmly into our sanctuary, as well as everybody at home online. Whether you're here in Maine or somewhere else in the world, we are blessed to have you. And I'll keep up the tradition of Reverend Pat talking about the Maine weather for those people who are not in Maine.
Hey, Kim.
Yes.
We have a prelude song
You
before Pat
Got
goes into that.
Okay.
If you want to wait for just a second, we'll do that song.
Let's
and then
prelude.
You can continue, and then we'll do Interlude with the opening song.
Thank you.
Oops, we don't do it in that key, though. We do it in this key. May I stay amazed all of my days and all of the ways of the world's turning. I'm amazed at what I've got, not what I've not, all soon forgot in the world's turning. May I stay amazed for all of my days and all of the ways of the world's turning. Amazed at what I've got, not what I've not, all soon forgot in the world's turning. May I stay amazed for all of my days and all of the ways of the world's turning. Amazed at what I've got, not what I've not, all soon forgot in the world's turning. May I stay amazed.
That was beautiful. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. So a few people have just entered. I just wanted to repeat, Reverend Pat Bessie is on vacation this week, her staycation, and I'll be guiding you through the service today. My name is Kim Copperthwaite, and welcome to those who just walked in. So I was talking about the weather. We always like to get that in for people who aren't in Maine, and it was quite strange this week. Tuesday, for those of you who were not here in Maine and in Windham, especially, we just had a lot of bark, not a lot of bite, I would call it, because we were supposed to get a foot of snow. We didn't get the snow, but we had that wind with the trees going like this and the traffic lights swinging around. School canceled. Then we had warmth yesterday, false spring, and now we're back to the cold. So here we are, and we are so blessed to have everybody together here in the room and online. And we will begin with our congregational song, House Built on Love. And you have a choice. You are welcome to sit and relax and sing, or you can stand and sing, whichever feels comfortable for you.
Come, let us gather together a house built on love. Come, let us gather in peace. This is a sacred space. We join our hearts here in one loving family. This is a house built on love. We come together as people of prayer. This is a house built on love.
Thank you. You may be seated. And please join me in prayer as we welcome this beautiful sunny day into our lives. If you've come here today with any heaviness in your body, let that go. If you look at the window behind me, be still. If you came here today, whether online or in the room, with any heaviness in your mind, please let that go. Heaviness in your heart, let it be. Because we are now in the presence of divine being, the presence of Source. And whether you call that God or Spirit, nature, Mother Earth, Gaia, it does not matter. It is all the same. And you are surrounded by it, you are part of it, and it is within you. If there's anything in your body that needs healing, know that it is happening at this moment, in due time, in its own way. If you have anybody you're holding in your heart or your mind that you're concerned about, go ahead and speak their name or hold them in your mind's eye. And know that that person is on their own path. And our job is only to hold the high watch for them, that they can tap into that energy and heal. If you have any concern in your mind, know that the solution to that is already around you, and let it go and let it be. And we take this confidence and this power that comes when we all come together thinking this and holding these thoughts, and we send it out into the world. We surround the earth with all its earthly issues, with divine love that has the power to heal and turn things right. We accept this healing and this love and this peace for all beings in the world. And so it is, and we let it be, and we say, thank you, God, so it is, and amen. Okay. And I believe it's now time for our invocation. Which I think will appear. All right. So together, will you join me? Again, you can sit or stand. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And our vision statement. Centered in divine love, we celebrate a spiritually transformed world. And our mission statement. Unity Center for Spiritual Growth reaches in to reach out through education, service, and creation of community. And at Unity, we have core values that we live by and try to take out as best we can into the world. And our core values are, we are loving, we are accepting, we are authentic, we are transformative, we are soul-centric, we are compassionate, and we are welcoming. Now a song.
Our congregational song this week is What a Wonderful World. You can sit or stand as you choose.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see the moon for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Don't you love that song? So perfect. Yeah. This is a time where we welcome newcomers, but we do have a fabulous newcomer in a way to us. Our speaker today is Dr. Fred Brancato, and he is the author of Mystery and Manifestation, Reflections on Life Experience Beyond Ideology, Theology, and Belief Systems. And I know he has a terrific lesson for us today. I can't wait to hear him speak, so welcome today. Are there any people visiting us for the first time today? If you are here for the first time, we do have some information that you can take home with you. If you raise your hand, Aaron will bring that to you. Any first timers? We've got one. Yay. Welcome. Would you be willing to share your first name with us? Hi, Pat. Thanks for stopping. Oh, nice. So not too far. So in that packet, you'll get some information about what Unity is. And there's also a place where you can fill out, and if you want to, give us your email information. We will send out information to you. We don't send a ton out, just twice a week. One comes out on Wednesday called Heart Thoughts that tells you everything that's going on here. And then we send out a reminder Saturday evening to let you know what's going on Sunday. So if you'd like to do that, you may. And I believe there's a sticker, might be a heart or a smiley face. If you want to stay after the service, would love to have you. We have coffee, tea, and I think we have some treats today that were brought in. So if you put that on, we'll know to kind of stop by and say hello to you. So thank you for coming. Yeah. People online, if there's anybody online who is joining us for the first time and you'd like to share your information, put your name in the chat box. And I know from being online, people will hop on and say hello to you right online. All right, now we welcome one another too with our song Face to Face and Heart to Heart.
I offer you my open heart, my open eyes to see, and I know you will offer to the very same to me. Face to face, heart to heart, you and me. Face to face, heart to heart, you and me. I see the light inside you, you see the light in me, and we can know each other here, loving, kind, and free. Face to face, heart to heart, you and me. Face to face, heart to heart, you and me.
And you may be seated. Sue and Todd, it's so good to see you back from the South. Was the cold shocking to come back to? Yeah, they've been traveling down south. We are going to now take a look at our 5 basic unity principles. If you've ever traveled and gone to other unity churches, you will see that these are the same principles wherever you go. They might be worded differently, but the concepts and the theory behind them are the same. So we'll start with our first principle. God is good and everywhere present in our lives, in our cars, in ourselves. My connection is always commuting to work in the car. And it's also a foundational piece of understanding that God is within you, that you are an original blessing, and that God dwells within you as well. We also talk about how hard this one is if you're in a disagreement with somebody or someone is just driving you nuts, and that is the personality of the person, not the core essence of the person. We are always divine. Number 2, the Spirit of God lives within each person, therefore all people are inherently good. Reminding ourselves again that at the core, we are spiritual beings. Number 3, I have a quote that I brought for that one. Number 3 is we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. And I came across this the other day. I wrote it down a couple of years ago by Henry David Thoreau, the 19th century poet and naturalist and a bit of a rabble-rouser. But anyways, he wrote, "We must think over and over the thoughts we wish to dominate our lives." I want to say that again. We must think over and over the thoughts we wish to dominate our lives. And that's hard because I know those negative thoughts I sometimes call monkey mind will just kind of sometimes take over, and we need to go into the thoughts that we want to create our lives with as much tenacity as those nagging, anxious thoughts. So over and over, we need to think what we want to dominate our lives. Number 4, there is power in affirmative prayer, which we believe increases our connection to God. So that prayer is opening ourselves up to the connection of spirit. We pray in the affirmative, which is a little different for people who just join us, that we are not praying in a way that is a place of powerlessness. We're praying from a place of power, affirming this is true, this is to be so, and we make it so in our minds. And number 5, knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. We must put them into action. That, again, is part of us embracing the power that we are beings on earth. We come here with a purpose, and we are sometimes vessels for the greater good that is moving through us, and we need to put that into action. All right. So this is also the time sharing the good news or talking about how you've put these principles into action in your life this week. If something came up, even if it's a small moment. Yes, would you like to come up, or you want me to come to you with the mic? All right. Thank you. I know it is. And then going from the cold, you can come right up. You can come up the stairs or the steps.
I'm tired.
I know. I'll catch you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Connie. Can you hear me? Am I doing this right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you'll bear with me I'm going to need a few minutes, because my experience this last week has probably been the most powerful example of these principles that I have ever witnessed in my life. Excuse me. So I belong to a social media platform called TikTok. I don't usually like social media. I avoid most of it. But during COVID and the pandemic and being so isolated, I needed companionship and entertainment. So I got on TikTok. If those of you who aren't familiar with this platform, some of you are, but there's about 100 million people on it. And you can make up to 3-minute videos to share your views, something funny. People just connected this way. So for the last 2 years, I've been on this site, and I've been trying to offer, most of the time, uplifting things that will help people in this time that we're going through have some hope. A week ago, I inadvertently tapped into the trauma and pain of a large mass of people. I got on there and did a rather innocent video, wondering why some of the younger generation were making such a fuss on there about playing outside all day and drinking out of the hose and such, when baby boomers did the same thing, and we thought it was great. I just couldn't understand the correlation. The assault that I experienced in my comment section was not to be believed. Thousands of people, thousands of these wounded young people that were called latchkey kids came at me and left me cut to ribbons and bleeding for the whole world to see. Some of the comments were so vile, I had to delete them and block them immediately. But what I heard was a lot of stories of the pain, the abuse and neglect that this particular population experienced. And it moved me. Sorry to take so long too. I need to do this. This is important for all of us, but I really need to do this. So it moved me. And since the day I was born, my mission here on earth has been to try to understand and make changes in why humanity is so cruel to each other, why people are so unkind. I wanted to make a difference. And I had a very small circle, so I was only able to impact my own family, friends, people that I came into contact with at work. And I found myself in front of a very large audience. And I did a lot of prayer about this. And I had a lot of trauma myself, and I worked very, very hard for many years to heal from it. So they were tapping right in and opening my old traumas right up, and I was really in rough shape. I've been through a particularly deep and dark spiritual awakening the last couple of years to, I think, go in and clean up the last remnants of that pain and find myself most recently in probably the most healed state I've ever been in. So in my conversations with God, I realized that I had been being prepared to address this issue and make a bigger difference than just the people in my immediate community. So I made another video apologizing and asking for the forgiveness of all of the young people that I inadvertently hurt, explaining to them that I didn't know their pain, and inviting them to vent on my site anything that they needed to. And I had one boundary, and that's that there's going to be no unkindness, no name calling, no cruelty. They could not treat me that way. That was my boundary. If they did, they were gone. If they could talk about their pain without accusing me and every baby boomer, which is what was happening, we could have a dialogue. It's unbelievable how this has mushroomed. That has gone like crazy throughout TikTok. And many young Gen Xers have approached me, and I have been being invited to go on their live programs, asked to be on their podcasts, to open up dialogue between the baby boomer generation and these wounded Gen Xers to help get rid of the hate. And principle number 2, that there's good in everybody. When somebody is really coming at you with that kind of abuse, it really helps to follow that principle. Because these people are just wounded and lashing out. So anyways, I see wonderful things happening from this, and it's taxing me it's stretching me beyond belief with my limits. And I could use a lot of support from my community and from baby boomers. And so I'm gonna ask everybody here, whether you're familiar with TikTok or not, if you will keep in your prayers thoughts of sending love to these young people that were so badly neglected and abused, and for their healing. And if you will send prayers for me to give me the strength to continue this mission, because it's worthwhile, but it's a tough one. And thank you very much.
Connie, what you're doing is groundbreaking and tremendous. Yeah. Yeah.
I realize now that the things that I had to survive happened so that the things I had to survive and the healing I got spiritually had to happen for me to be able to do this. So positive reframing our own personal traumas.
Yes.
So thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for sharing. So some of us who have studied peace literacy, we've with Paul K. Chappelle, who has spoken here, have talked quite a bit about how the internet, social media has come at us before we were quite ready for it. We have no social norms. We have no peace literacy to how to treat each other in this format. And from some of the studies, one of the terms that have come out of the studies I've done is that we are feral children of the internet, and it's safe to put out negativity because we're anonymous. Yeah, so that's where some of that comes from.
And it needs to change.
Yes, it does.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm really encouraged about the direction this is taking.
Yeah.
And the respect. And a lot of these young people that were so cruel at first, just one saying, I'm sorry for your pain, completely turned them around. And now they're following me and they're watching our lives and our conversations, and they're trying to heal.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Thank you. That is a spiritual transformation in the world. Absolutely. Good. It's time for our daily word. This is a good one. Going to call Janice Murphy, one of our board members, and Mercy, you're very merciful. this is so cool. Janice and I taught together for many years in Freeport, and then she retired, and I'm still there.
Yes, yeah. And I'm glad you're there and I'm here. So glad. I've had a great run in the classroom. I loved it, every minute of it. But, retirement is pretty cool. So do we have a cool word today? Comfort. Where's Connie? Comfort. I find comfort in expressions of love. Speaking the words, I love you, provides comfort for an aching heart and peace in times of uncertainty. Today, I open my heart to these loving expressions as a soothing balm for distress or grief. When I am concerned about another, love centers me in the truth that all is in divine order, no matter how circumstances appear. I enfold the people I care about in a sphere of love, encircling them in peace and protection. When I am troubled, I find comfort in others' loving words. I surround myself with those who offer solace in my time of need. I find encouragement in their kindness and compassion. As we share of ourselves in kind and loving ways, we hearten spirits and bolster faith, giving comfort to ourselves and others. And from the scriptures, Thessalonians 2:17, comfort your hearts and strengthen them in every good work and word. The word today is comfort. I find comfort in expressions of love.
Thank you, Janice. And now we have some special music.
Thank you, Kim. To open up Fred's talk this morning, this is a song by Jeremy Geffen from the Missagaya Mystery. It lives in the seed of a tree as it grows. You can hear it if you listen to the wind as it blows. It's there in the river as it flows into the sea. It's the sound and the song of a heart becoming free. And it lives in the laughter of children at play, and in the blazing sun that gives life to the day. It moves the planets and the stars in the sky. It's been the mover of mountains since the beginning of time. Oh, mystery, you are alive. I feel you all around. You are the fire in my heart. You are the holy sound. You are all of life, and it is to you that I sing. Oh, grant that I may feel always in everything. And it lives in the waves that crash upon the beach. I've seen it in the gods that we have tried to reach. I feel it in that love that I know we need so much. And I know it in your smile, my love, when our hearts do touch. But when I listen deep inside, I feel you most of all, like a moon that's glowing white. And I listen to your call, and I know that you will guide me. I feel you like the tide rushing through the ocean of my heart that's open wide. Oh, mystery, you are alive. I feel you all around. You are the fire in my heart. You are the holy sound. You are all of life, and it is to you that I sing. Grant that I may feel you always in everything. Oh, grant that I may feel you always in everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'd like to introduce Fred Brancato. Fred holds a PhD from New York University's Department of Culture and Communication, a master's in religious study from Fordham University. He was a professional baseball player, social worker, high school teacher, foundation director, and executive director of an association of childcare agencies. He has conducted courses, workshops, and retreats on spiritual matters and was a consultant on race and culture. And in retirement, he founded Elders for Future Generations. He is also author of Ancient Wisdom and the Measure of Our Days, the Spiritual Dimensions of Retirement, Aging, and Loss. So I'd like to welcome you up, Fred. You can come up the stairs or the step in the front. Come on up. And I think we're going to do a different mic situation for you. So come on over here. And what do you need? Just maybe here? Okay. I'll take this so you have some space. All right.
It's great to see all these smiling faces. It's wonderful. I'm very happy to be here, and I feel blessed to be here. And okay. Can you all hear me okay? Is this all right? Okay, I'm a little hoarse today, but I don't look like a little horse, but I'm a little horse. Right. So I want to thank Pat also just for inviting me, Pat Bessie, and when she invited me when she heard that I had a new book that was out called Mystery and Manifestation, and asked if I would come and maybe share a little bit about the book, and so that'll be the basis for some comments that I have in the limited time, just to mention that. I want to also say I am deeply touched by just the whole atmosphere and the spirit of everyone here. It's quite beautiful. It's quite beautiful. And Connie, where are you, Connie? Yeah, thank you so much for what you shared and your focus on experience, is what I'll be focusing on a little bit in terms of the importance of our experience in really having them shape us and form us and grow from those experiences. And then I was particularly taken with the third principle that you had about how we think influences what our experiences are, so our perception is the source of our experience. So that's really key. And what prompted me to write the book was that in a lot of the workshops and conferences that I've participated in, and the people I've known a lot of different people, they have these transcendent experiences, and I believe we all have these transcendent experiences that often people just block out, tend to not really pay attention to them and not allow those transcendent experiences to shape and form them. And that often some of their own dogmatic beliefs and their ideologies and the theologies they subscribe to can be barriers to really having those experiences take that kind of impact, because often those experiences are outside the boundary of what they have come to learn. So, so the name of the book is Mystery and Manifestation, and it's reflections. That's all they are. They're just reflections. They're reflections on life experience. The emphasis is on experience that go beyond ideology, theology, and belief systems. So I'm going to just read. I'm a little bit apprehensive about just doing some readings from the book, but I'll do that and maybe offer a little explanation here or there. So if you'll bear with me, we'll start with this first thing, and it has to do again with perception, how we see things. So reflections about life experience are infused with questions about perception. How do I know what I think I know is real? How do I know what I see, hear, and understand is actually the way things are? These questions about truth are couched within a framework of finding objective reality. However, scientists in the field of quantum mechanics and cultural psychology say objectivity does not exist. They note that preconceived notions of any kind can influence the outcomes of carefully designed experiments. It's further asserted that what we physically perceive exists only in our nerve circuits, and the world out there is not or what it appears to be. We create the physical world we perceive from the trillions of stimuli bombarding our senses. This is what science is telling us. And Albert Einstein, in this quote, says, physical concepts are free creations of the mind and are not, however they seem, uniquely determined by the physical world. All right. Our perceptions of such things as climate, terrain, life circumstances, and physical appearance are formed not only in our nervous system, but by our bodily structure and chemistry as well. For example, the bodily design of a whale, an eagle, or a fox determines what they see, hear, and sense from the stimuli coming from, quote, out there. Many of the myriad influences upon human perception have been identified by researchers in the fields of physics, microbiology, physiology, neurology, pharmacology, psychology, cultural psychology, and sociology, all in their own ways. If we are told by students of the physical world that the material world does not objectively exist as we ostensibly experience it. Where does that leave us when it comes to questions about the transcendent realm? Beyond perception of what we call material reality, this subjective process of perception is especially relevant when it comes to understanding our lives and the circumstances in which we find ourselves. Our perceptions and subsequent experiences depend on where we and our culture sit at any given time, as Einstein's theory of relativity and our own common sense seem to affirm. This was brought dramatically home to me, the subjectivity of things. I have just a little story that I love to tell. My mother had dementia, and she lived in the Bronx, which is where I'm from. And my sister and I were looking for a place for her, a nursing home. And she really was not doing very well. We felt we needed that. So we were looking at a range of nursing homes. And in the Bronx, the nursing homes are several stories high, right? So we would take the floors to different, we'd take the elevator to different floors, and usually the dementia units were on the top floor. So I remember this one time when we were looking at this one place, the doors opened, and opposite the elevated doors were people in the hall sitting in wheelchairs just lined up opposite the elevated doors. And my sister and I were just having a hard time placing my mother, let alone seeing this, and we were just appalled, shocked. So we found a place that was really good for her, and I would go down and visit her at least once a month. And I remember going down on this one visit. I go up to her floor, the doors open, and there's my mother opposite the elevated doors, just sitting there. And I go in, and there's a chair that happens to be empty next to her, fortuitously. So I go over and I sit down next to her. And she wasn't talking much those days, so we just sat there together. So as I'm sitting there, I'm looking at all the action that's going on around the elevator. People are coming and going, staff, visitors, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool place. It's much better than seeing her in her room or in a common area that was there. So as I'm sitting there, just taking everything in, elevated doors open. And there's a couple that's kind of new at this. You can see they're up. And their look, at us there, seeing this and how appalled they were, just like my sister and I, were when we were looking for nursing homes. And somehow this very dramatically told me it all depends on where you sit, in terms of what your experience is at any given time. So I'll just go back to reading a little section related to this. And so the interior world we personally live in is the one we mentally create for ourselves, whether by choice, chance, culture, chemistry, or most likely, all of these. Creating the inner world we live in is what we do in all aspects of our lives. And I've grown more conscious of how I do this daily in one form or another, and how much it involves the power of choice. Do I want to foster a state of mind where most things pose a threat, and where separation, individualism, competition, isolation, fear, and anger are the landscape? Or do I seek an inner world of connection, belonging, trust, inclusion, and embrace? Gandhi kind of said it very well when he was doing a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, which is like the gospel in Hinduism. As a person thinks, so he or she becomes. And it's very much related to, I think, the third principle that you have there. Okay. I'm going to read from a little section here called the illusion of meaning and identity. You know, I've looked for years for my identity. The reason I can't find my identity is that it doesn't exist. Okay, there's a lot to go into. I touched upon that a little bit in the book, but I'll go into this. To seek the meaning of our lives is to be misguided. You know, I see so many people who are even retired who are looking for their meaning in their life. You know, what's the meaning of my life? What's the meaning of this? To seek the meaning of our lives is to be misguided and ultimately to come up empty. Because what we call meaning is an abstraction. It's a thought. The conceptual meaning of our lives is not equal to our being. It cannot be found in a book or in a role to play. Life is not a concept. Concepts are abstractions sparked within the limited orbit of the brain. Abstractions are not life itself. They cannot satisfy. No idea or concept can possibly satisfy us. What I find I'm really seeking in my search for meaning is the experience of being fully and creatively alive. More than that, there's a hunger, a thirst, a longing inherent in me to taste and relish pure being itself. Pure being itself, which is another way of saying the divine. In all the routes I've taken, my search for personal meaning and identity has really been a pursuit of the rapture of being when I reflect upon it in that way. If this is true of me, I believe it's true of all human beings because we share the same human and divine nature. In those extraordinary moments when the rapture of life is experienced, when the ego self I'm accustomed to is suddenly gone, and ordinary surroundings become luminous with infinite presence, I vibrate in awe, and I'm taking into mystery and all that is beyond my normal perception. Purpose and personal meaning no longer matter, as may happen upon death's arrival. It is in those transcendent experiences of the commonplace that I come closer to the silent one I have somehow known from the cradle. And who is it that seems to have known the silent one from the cradle? I sense it is the very being of me, deeply hidden in the recesses of my heart. We are ourselves. And also, I think that's related to some of the principles about the Spirit living in us. And another way to possibly see it in expression is that our very being is the being of the divine. There's only one being. And everything is a manifestation of that one being there. I'm looking at the clock, and I'm very conscious of time. But I would like to read a poem which captures what I think and what I see as transcendent experience. Okay, and the transcendent experience happens in the common everyday thing. So this is by Billy Collins, one of my favorite poets, who was the poet laureate of the United States. And the name of the poem is This Much I Do Remember. It was after dinner. You were talking to me across the table about something or other, a greyhound you had seen that day, or a song you liked. And I was looking past you over your bare shoulder at the 3 oranges lying on the kitchen counter, next to the small electric bean grinder, which was also orange, and the orange and white cruets with vinegar and oil. all of which converged into a random still life, so fastened together by the hasp of color, and so fixed behind the animated foreground of your talking and smiling, gesturing and pouring wine, and the camber of your shoulders, that I could feel it being painted inside me, brushed on the wall of my skull, while the tone of your voice lifted and fell in its flight, and the three oranges remained fixed on the counter, the way stars are said to be fixed in the universe. Then all the moments of the past began to line up behind that moment, and all the moments to come assembled in front of it in a long row, giving me reason to believe that this was a moment rescued from millions that rushed out of sight into darkness behind the eyes. Even after I have forgotten what year it is, middle name, and the meaning of money, I still carry in my pocket the small coin of that moment, minted in the kingdom that we pace through every day. And I'd like to just close with just some points that I have found, and I've been studying the world's diverse spiritual traditions well over 60 years. I'm 85 now, and I look back on all of those and bring that in. And I find these are the common themes that emerge from all mystics and others, sages, among all the diverse spiritual traditions. And here's what they seem to say in common. Transcendent reality cannot be conceptually understood or verbally communicated. However, it can be experienced. Not conceptually, just experienced. Experience of transcendent reality is possible when we're free of our individual ego selves. When free from our separate ego selves, transcendent reality itself makes itself known, and the nature of oneself and all beings is experienced. I had an experience in Canyon de Chelly on Navajo land, in which I was sitting at the base of the canyon, and all of a sudden, there was the sensation or the experience, indescribable, that underlying everything was love. Love was underlying everything, being, substance. It was love. And as soon as I realized, I thought, oh, I'm having this experience, it was gone. The ego, just came back full cycle. So liberation from our small ego selves is the core of spiritual practice. Divine assistance on the path is needed and received when asked for, and there are a few exceptions, as in Theravada Buddhism. Nothing exists independently of everything else. I mean, everything else. The fact that we're here is we are connected to just about, well, not just about, everything in the cosmos. All entities are equally manifestations of the One and are to be treated as such. In transcendent experiences, all polarities, dichotomies, distinctions, separations, and hierarchies vanish. We are not who we think we are, and the world is not what we normally culturally perceive it to be. Suffering is caused by clinging to the illusion of permanence, resisting change, and denying metamorphosis. Everything is in motion, continually. The Choctaw Nation, they have no word for be or is because they think that's stationary. So you only have verbs that communicate. The same is true in the Aramaic that Jesus spoke. Everything was in motion. The divine was seen as in motion. There were all things in motion, so that you didn't have these fixed nouns that had something that became stationary. And then finally, the one, the source of all being, is love. And you know that so well. So that's all I really am going to do from the book. And I think it would be good for us to just maybe spend a little bit of time, just a few moments in silence, to go into silence. And if it's okay with you, I'll just lead us into it a little bit. So if you would just sit in your chair, kind of sit up if you can. Feel your breathing, just follow your breath. Follow its gentle ebb and flow. You're not doing anything with it. And on each exhale, surrender your muscles. Just release, let go. And just feel the stillness inside, stillness in the room, and feel the presence of everyone here. We are in this beautiful field, energy field of love. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Fred, for for everything that you shared with us. Really beautiful. Thank you. All right. We'll do a mic switch here. Thank you. Well, as usual, we have a lot going on here, and I'll go through our announcements. Chair yoga, unfortunately, is canceled today. Not a lot of enthusiasm for it this time, but maybe we'll offer that again. So it was planned after the service today, but it is canceled. A women's writing group is happening starting on Monday. It'll be March 20th through the 27th. That is online from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. on Monday evenings. And registration is required online, so you can get the Zoom link for it. Wednesday, March 22nd, a sound bath and yoga nidra journey with Catherine and Mario Escamilla. That's going to be 6 p.m. Registration is required and the cost is $25. So that's Wednesday, this Wednesday, the sound bath and yoga nidra. We have an offering on April 15th, which is a Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. And it's called Stepping Through the Looking Glass by Pamela Albee. And it says to join us for a lively and thought-provoking 2-hour experiential workshop discovering a pathway into the catacombs of the unconscious mind. which holds, it gets even better, holds information to past lives. So again, that is April 15th, Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Palm Sunday is coming, and that will be April 2nd. We will be doing a spiritual baptism and a walking of the palms. If you have not ever done that here with us, there are palms spread out across the front of the sanctuary, and we walk across them for a blessing. So that's April 2nd. Holy Thursday service will be on Zoom on April 6th from 7 to 8 p.m. Registration, of course, is required to get that Zoom link. And then Easter is happening. It will be here, April 9th. No, it says no potluck. We've moved the new date for the potluck to April 23rd. There is a silent retreat at Marie Joseph's, and that is May 5th through the 7th. The cost is $175, and that's payable by March 31st, so the end of this month. Jack Siri, are you leading that? All right, and there's Jack if you'd like more info. Would you like to say a few words? Sure. Yep, you want to come on up? There you go.
I couldn't resist picking up on Fred's comment about experience. A silent retreat essentially is giving yourselves 48 hours of real silence so you can pick up on the experiences that tend to just flit in and flit out. It's an invitation to open yourselves to your own experiences, however you understand those. So it's $350 for the weekend. May 5 to 7, and I can give you more information on that if you would like. Shalom.
And you get fed there too. Like, that's the best part. You don't have to think about food, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's there. So it's wonderful. And the ocean, of course. We have an Earth Day event coming April 23rd. I don't have a lot of information on that, but that's coming up April 23rd. And our regular morning faith lift with Reverend Barbara Kowalska, Monday, Wednesday, Friday online at 8 a.m. And Leah does a meditation going, it's moved to once a month with Leah. And hers is on Thursday evenings at 7:30 p.m. on the third Thursday of the month. And not listed on here is probably one of the biggest events, which is spring equinox. I believe it's Monday. Yeah, it's just so exciting living in Maine. It's possible. It might happen. All right. And that is it for the announcements. It's time for our offering. And we have our offering statement. And those of you at home, if you'd like to join us, and I think it's important, at least for me, it really is meaningful to speak these words out loud. So if you'll join me in saying our offering. Divine love flowing from me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the joy of giving. And if you'd like to come up, this is our little offering table here. Please come up even if you're not putting an offering into the bowl, because we have an affirmation, and the one that you receive, we believe, is the one that you need to hear this week. So come on up. If you're interested in signing up for automatic donations, there's a little form here. If you already give automatically, it's a nice practice to physically put this in the bowl, saying, yes, you give automatically online. And we have our peace tree over here. If you'd like to put out a message of peace to the world, our tree will deliver it to the world, I promise. So you can write a message on there. So come on up right through the center if you are so moved.
While the offering's being taken, please join us in singing Blessed Always. blessed always, blessed always, are the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Blessed always, blessed always, are the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Blessed always, blessed always, are the arms of God. Blessed always, blessed always, are the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen.
Come on up. Oh, thank you. Please join me as we bless these tithes and offerings and send them out into the world to do the will of creating a spiritually transformed world. We acknowledge that money is just an expression of our love. And so we bless them and we send them, and thank you all, and amen. And now the peace song.
No kiddos today?
What's that?
No kiddos today?
Oh, gee, I didn't hear them and I didn't even think. Do we have any little ones today? I didn't see any come in. Do we hear them? No. There's Randall. No one's following him. Nope. Okay, our little people are home having fun or resting. That's all good. So we can move into the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as the one source, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. with every step I take. Let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And together, our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Do we have prayer partners today? All right. All right. Thank you. So if you would like to have someone sit with you and pray for just, and be in this corner or that one probably, or that corner over there, please stay after the service for that, and go off and be an instrument of peace.